Hi, I'm Zoe, and I'm from Paranormal Extraction, and I am the supernatural interviewer. And today we have Alan with us, who's going to talk about his werewolf encounter. So, Alan, let's hear all about it. I'm really excited, and I'm going to sit down, and I think today you can see me. Can you see me?
I can.
Oh, good. Okay, so I know that this happened quite a few years ago, decades ago, but why don't you go ahead and start and tell this incredibly fabulous story. Now, there's one thing I want to say before we start this, and you're willing to take a lie detector test on this, right?
Correct.
Correct, right. Okay, so I'm super, super excited about that. And when we get our own show on TV, which is coming soon, we'll definitely have you take that right on the show.
Oh, that'd be great.
Good, me too. Me too. Okay, go ahead and start telling us about this amazing adventure that you had.
Well, it happened when I was about 17 years old. Um, uh, the reason why I decided to do it on your show as opposed to doing it on Dogman Encounter with Rick Condon is because they believe that it's a species, like some kind of an animal, like a cow or a dog or cat, species type thing. And
Right.
I have a different belief on. I believe they're called werewolves, and I believe that everything's a species, but it's a species that is not was made with black magic, and so it's a little different type of species that most people are not even accustomed to or don't understand. And so my experience happened to me when I was 17 years old. I was right outside Reno, Nevada, over by where.
It's on the Truckee River, is that correct? I mean,
It's
I
correct.
mean,
It's by the
because you and I have gone down there. I mean, when you flew into town, we have gone down to that location of where it was at. But it's on the Truckee River, kind of next to where it was the old MGM, but MGM wasn't there anymore. It wasn't there, correct?
At that time, they had actually what they had was like a quarantine, like a construction quarantine place. It was a big ditch at that point in time. But I was down behind where the warehouses were. A friend of mine's dad worked at one of the warehouses, and they hung a rope, and we used to swing off the tree and let go and go into the water. Well, one night, Gary decided that he wanted to go out with his girlfriend Angie and myself and go down by the river and just kind of relax and enjoy ourselves, and so we went down to the river, and I had a Volkswagen camper at the time, and my hair was extremely long.
So we're talking. How old were you?
I was about 17 years old.
Hey, 17. Wow. Okay. So you had the Volkswagen, and you guys were all going out just to hang out on the water. No drugs or drinking or anything like that.
We used to we were really pretty straight at the point in time we were down there. We just got there.
Okay.
And so.
Well, that's good. You're credible. You're credible.
And so, basically, we parked and we started walking to where the rope was, and then there's like a road that Gary says, me and Angie are going to walk down a little bit further down, and we'll catch up with you here at the rope. And I said, oh, that sounds really good, because they were going to go swim together and spend some time together. And so I said, well, that's really good. Go ahead and I'll wait here. I said, it was a full moon that night, so the moon was low, and it was really a bright moon. And I remember seeing everything as if it was almost somebody turned a light on. It was pretty visible, everything.
So
It
you
wasn't
could,
like,
Alan, you could see everything, is what you're saying, with the full moon, I mean,
you could see pretty much everything. It wasn't like daylight, but I mean, you could really see a good perspective on everything that was out there.
right,
And so I was just thinking about, possibly going out, swinging out, and going into the water.
sure,
It was a nice night, and then I heard a rumble, and I looked over to my left, and when I looked over to my left, I thought I saw a creature, and at first I thought it was a bear, a pretty big sized bear. I thought, wow, big bear. And I started feeling uncomfortable, and as soon as I looked at it, I can remember it responded and started charging at me. And I started getting really scared because as it was coming to me, I could tell that whatever it was, I thought to myself, it's very powerful because branches were breaking. And the day after, I went back there, and there were 2-inch branches that were broken clean
wow,
from this thing running through it.
wow.
And I started getting very intimidated. It's very scary.
Well,
And I
yeah,
thought to myself,
super scary. I mean, if anyone had a big, huge, gigantic bear-looking thing, you thought it was a bear, but why didn't you think it was a bear? I mean, was it?
well, because of the size of the creature, and from the distance. See, I was way at a distance. I mean, we're talking. I could barely even make out a figure what the creature was. That I could see this. I could tell it was some kind of size from that distance. So I started feeling uncomfortable, and as soon as I looked over, it recognized me, and from what I understand about werewolves is they have extremely super powerful instincts and senses, and so it immediately started being aggressive, coming towards me, and I thought about going into the water, and I thought to myself, I said, well, don't do that, because by the time you get in the water, it probably is a great swimmer, which they are. And then I said, well, I could climb up the rope. And I thought, well, if I get halfway up the rope, it could probably bring me down by just pulling on the rope and breaking it. And so I said, well, that's not an option. So by that time, within probably 5 seconds at the most, 1, 2, 3, 4, it was already upon me.
Wow.
And it was what really freaked me out the most, I guess, like the most intimidating thing, because I just couldn't believe what I was seeing, is when it was.
Well, who wouldn't? I mean, who wouldn't
actually,
be freaked out? Who wouldn't be freaked out by seeing something that big?
I mean, when it came right up where it stood, which it stood right behind a bush, where the path was, because they knew that's where I would have to go. That was the only choice I had to go through to get by. It came up on 2 legs and stood right up there. And the creature, now, because I do, at the time of 17, you don't really know what size something is, but I deal with a lot of measurements because of my work right now. So I'm probably going to be pretty accurate in the height now, close to 9'3".
Wow. So that thing was huge. Now, so it ran at you on all 4s and then stood up? Is that what you're saying, or did it run on?
It was actually beautiful, because the way it came off of the 4s and stood up, it was like it allowed its standing up motion to stop itself right exactly where it knew it had to be, which was behind that bush, and it towered over the bush, and
what did it look like? I mean, explain. Like the color. It was. Did it have fur? Did it have hair? Did it have a snout? And I know that since then you've done a lot of research. So I know you're throwing a couple of those things in as we do this interview. you know, on what you know about werewolves now because you've done so much research. But what did it look like exactly?
Well, it was very muscular, very strong, muscular animal. I mean, you could tell that if you hit it, it wasn't going to move. It was just so solid. It had hair on it, okay, but not. Some of the hair was long and some of the hair was short.
Interesting.
The hands I didn't see and the legs I didn't see because it was behind the bush. But what I did see was the head and the chest area. And it was just standing there looking at me. And at that point in time, I thought it was going to be dead. And I was really scared. For the first time in my life, I just felt so insignificant.
You felt like you were going to be dead.
Correct.
Right. So after you saw this, okay, where did you run to next?
Well, what I did was I realized that I didn't have any choice but to run through the path to get away from it because that was the only way. That was my only escape, which means that I would have to run right in front of it.
Oh.
And so.
Great.
I was so scared that at that time I looked up and I said to myself, Lord, please help me because I really just didn't. I thought I was going to die, and if I was going to die, I at least wanted to die with. I was that helpless, and that's the position I felt in my life, and I've never felt that way ever my whole life. To this day, I've never had anything quite that dramatic. I mean, this creature was totally intimidating. You have to understand that it's as wide as a door. Wide.
So it's also wide. What about its eyes? And does it have teeth?
Oh, I didn't see the teeth. I'm so glad it didn't show the teeth. Because I was so intimidated because it had the mouth was like a dog's mouth, but it was just bigger. I mean, it was just, you knew it had, if it took a bite out of you, it would because it was so powerful, it would just be eating like an apple.
Well, yeah, if it's 9'7".
Yeah, it would just eat you like if you were an apple.
And broad, you said very, very broad. How broad was it?
It was as broad as a door.
Oh, okay, as a door. Okay.
I mean, we're talking a 36-inch door, 6-inch door.
What color was its fur?
The fur was kind of a black with some gray in it. And the eyes were really dark. And when I got real, I told myself I wasn't going to look at it when I ran by it. I said, well, if I don't look at it, I won't be so freaked out. So on the path, there's just a little bit of a hill that you have to hit. It's probably 18 inches to up to 2 feet at the most. That you hit, and then you jump over it, and then you're home free. And when I hit the hill, that little hill, I was still not quite eye to eye to it. I'm 6 foot. And so when I looked at this creature, and I looked at the eyes, I thought, oh my goodness, because it has so much confidence in itself that it wasn't intimidated at all. And I thought it was gonna come across with a hand and just kill me.
So so as you ran past, because you darted, so you had to go down the path, so you darted past him, okay?
I went past him.
Past him, and just shut your eyes running then, right? You just, were just focused on getting back to your van?
Well, after I got by, I was gonna go to the van. And then I realized that I couldn't do that because I had other people with me. And I really didn't want to go help them because I was so scared. All I was really thinking about was myself at the time a little bit.
Right.
And I said to myself, I can't do that because that's not the right thing to do. So I went down the path because I knew where they're gonna go.
Okay.
And I told Gary, I said, look, Gary, we're gonna have to leave right now. And he says, oh, no, Al, it's just your imagination. I said, no, it's not my imagination. I know what I see. And I said, it was breathing heavy. And I said, when it was breathing, it was taking in, like, there was 20 men there. That's how deep of a breath it would take. It was, like, really intimidating.
So he didn't believe you whatsoever, but wasn't his girlfriend there too? Was he alone?
Well, him and Angie were together. They were going to go down to this one area and to go swim. And as they were going to go to that area, Gary heard the breathing. So he pushes Angie down on the ground.
That's not very nice. He wanted to protect her, you know, that pushing on the ground so she wasn't standing there.
Well, he pushed her on the ground and took off.
And took off and left her there.
Yeah, started heading towards the van.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So pretty much left her for the creature that was there.
Okay, well then she would have been some good food for the creature while he escaped. But anyways,
well,
I didn't really.
I picked Angie up and told Angie, I said, you go ahead in front of me because either way, we can't outrun this thing. So if it's going to get us, at least I'd be the first one to die.
Well, that's awfully nice of you.
Chivalry.
It's better than throwing someone on the ground and saying, see you later.
A little more chivalrous.
Yeah.
I mean, I did that because, you know, that's just how I feel as a person. I figured out it wouldn't make any difference. If it wanted all three of us that night, it could have got us easy.
Yeah.
And when we got into the van and we took off, and Gary was petrified because he heard the breathing and they were both scared. And well, like I said, I went the next day and I noticed that the branches were broken. And I'll tell you something.
Now, Alan, did you go alone the next day or did they go with you?
Well, actually what happened the next day is I went over and was telling some friends about this. And so I had some friends that they had bats and everything. They were going to show me that this is easy to take care of this animal. You know? They had it all figured out. They're going to beat it with some bats.
Okay.
And I said it was breaking 2-inch branches as it was running. I don't think your bats are going to do anything. Oh no, it's just your imagination. We're going to go down and show you that we're not scared of what you encountered.
So did you go during the day or did you go back at night?
Oh, we went back there. It was towards the mid-afternoon.
Oh, okay, so it was daylight then. Well, I wouldn't want to be going back there.
Well, it was barely where you could see the sun was starting to go down. And as we were starting to go through the willow area, because it was all covered up with willows over there, like this, there was like a den area where we, you know, like we used to go into that area ourselves.
Yeah.
Obviously, before he was there, years ago, and so we went over. We're going to go in there, and the guys were with the bad news. As soon as it started getting up, I mean, you could hear it get up. It was intimidating. As soon as they heard the thing get up, they dropped their bats and started running the other way.
So
all of them did.
Oh, they did. Okay, so during the day, they could hear it wrestling. Then wrestling.
They would. Yeah, as soon as they heard the wrestling and the strength of the animal, they just dropped the bats and. It was really surprising how they went from being a tough people to, oh, please help me get out of here.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, because they realized that what I was telling them was the truth.
Yeah.
So it would obviously it stayed in the same area that it was.
For some short period of time, I imagine it did.
Okay.
And so we went across the river to the other side of the river now because there's some warehouses over there. and we were trying to get close as we could to see if we could see it from,
Okay,
the outside.
okay, so wait a second, we have a lag there. So I thought they went running. So who went across the stream to go over to the warehouses?
No, we took the cars.
Oh,
and
you
we
took
went
the
to
cars,
that
okay.
side,
All
and
right.
there was some warehouses over there.
Okay,
And so, when we went over there, we thought we'd try to see it. Well, the security guard that was there asked us what we were doing. And I said, well, you wouldn't believe if I tell you this, what's going on here, you wouldn't believe me. And he said, try me. And he says, before you get going, are you guys trying to find a creature that's over there? And I said, well, yeah, I mean, have you seen it? He says, not only have I seen it, but I took my gun out and I shot at it, and I swear I hit it, and it didn't phase it.
wow.
So he said he was hoping that nobody would ever go over there and that it would go away. And so shortly after that, we never heard from him. And I believe
So you had some eyewitnesses. There was what, 3 other guys, and then you had the security guard over there that said that he had encountered it.
Security guard, Gene, Dave, myself, Dale. There's probably about 5 or 6 guys. I can't remember all the guys' name now. It's been so many years ago. But one of the things that about the whole experience that I will never forget is how beautiful the creature was. Because even though it was very dangerous looking to me, and I was just literally frightened, there was a beauty to it. And I've never seen anything that looks so magnificent as far as the strength of an animal. I mean, we're talking about an animal that could tear apart a grizzly bear.
Now, I remember that you and I kind of sent some photos back and forth on, like, I said, is this what it looked like? And you said, no, it's more like this. But then we kind of came up with one that was a pretty awesome photo of what you described that it looked like.
Absolutely. That photo that I shared with you?
Yes.
They took it off of my phone.
Okay.
The government.
Okay. So, of course they did. I mean, the government took it off his phone.
Yeah.
Okay, Alan, so after this, so that was your encounter with this. So did you ever go down there again after that? Did you go looking for it again, or did you go down to swim, or?
I haven't been out in the woods since I was 17 years old. I don't go out in the woods, and I don't go out at night.
Wow.
I just don't do
And-
those things.
Yeah, I know, because we spoke and you said that you live right across from a wooded area and that you won't even go to that. But then you said you were going to work through your fear and do a motorcycle ride through the woods. You never did that either.
I changed my mind on the I decided to probably sell the bike because I just don't want to come across that again. Because I felt I got really lucky that time. And now there is a story about the land between the lakes. I don't know if you've ever heard it.
No, but what I wanted to just spin off of really quick before you start that is, at that time we found that newspaper article from Utah.
Correct.
Okay, so tell about the newspaper article that came out. When did that come out again? I can't remember when that.
Well, it was right around 74, 75.
But how far away? I mean, like, was it the same year from the occurrence when you saw this in the newspaper?
It was within the same time frame.
That's what
And
I
like
thought,
said,
okay.
This has happened in 73, you know, but this article was either 73, 74. Basically what happened was there was a rancher there that experienced a creature that was killing its cattle. And so,
Right.
a cattle rancher. And so, what happened is he encountered an animal that was a werewolf. And so they were going to track it down with guns. And so they were checking the prints of the creature, following the prints and everything. And what ended up happening was the prints became human. And
Yeah.
he couldn't find it anymore.
And that was in Utah. It could have been the Skinwalker Ranch.
It could have been.
It could have been the Skinwalker Ranch way back then, right? And it's you know, whatever's going on there, who knows?
I thought it was a very odd, you know, story that I heard from that.
Yes.
And so they were trying to track the animal down. The animals are pretty smart. I was really impressed at how incredibly intelligent the animal was, because it knew exactly where to go, and it knew exactly where I was going to go to get a hold of Gary. So the animal is an extremely intelligent animal. The incident in the land between the lakes was probably the most scary story I've heard about the werewolf. It was just when camping season was starting.
Okay, now this is Land of the Lakes. This is another story, right? That happened with some campers.
The land between the land between the lakes is a story that happened on BLM property.
Okay, and where did the story appear?
I believe it's in Tennessee.
Okay, yeah, I know, but was it in a magazine? Was it in a newspaper? How did you find out about the story?
Oh, I found out about this by reading it through Dogman Encounter.
Okay. Oh, okay. Right. Okay.
Okay. And this is one of the stories that they had in Dogman Encounter. That's on YouTube all the time. But when I heard about the story, when I heard the story, it brought chills to me, because I really felt that the creature had this type of a power. This guy was basically jacking up his trailer. He had one of those old trailers. He didn't have an automatic leveler like they do today. But you had to get out there and level it yourself. And so he was out there leveling his trailer, and a werewolf took his head off right in front of his son. And so he had a son, and his son was about, from my understanding, about 11 years old.
Lord.
And so he took his father's head right off. And the boy was startled because he just couldn't believe it. And by that time, he was going to try to get some help. He was yelling, and his mom opened up the door to the trailer that they were in. She was in at that time. And the werewolf got to the boy and killed the boy instantly right in front of her.
So where's the scientific data on this? I mean, as far as it's a species. I call it a species similar to Yeti or Bigfoot, or they call it a species of unknown origin.
Well, they refer to it as a dogman.
Or a cryptid.
Yeah.
Or
they
cryptid.
Refer to it,
right.
They refer to it as a dogman.
Right. Yeah, but it's still a species of unknown origin. Right. So after the story, I mean, so that was the story that was on there that you saw, okay? And you've seen many other stories, but what is now that you're so far down the road and that you've done so much research on this, because I know you have, because it was such an incredible experience, what is your spin on where these what is your spin on it? I just want to know.
Well, the origin is in is in Europe, but when they came into the United States, they came in through New Jersey and New Orleans, and
Okay.
so that's how they came into America, and
Okay.
they migrated throughout the country. I mean, now I don't know if you ever heard of the dogman species in Wisconsin
Yes.
and in Michigan.
Yes.
Okay, they have that, and they're in like California. They're just about everywhere in the United States where there's areas they like to be. I know that we're both on. I'll give you an example of something real freaky. I don't want to go too much into names of anything, but there's a group that's on the Facebook,
Right.
and I got to meet or talk to the one lady there, and she and I communicated a little bit, and I started talking with her, and she told me where she lived, and so she lives in Arkansas.
Okay.
And by the Mississippi, by the river. And so she was noticing some howling noises and some really strange noises coming out of her woods. But she won't go out at night to check it at all. And so we got onto that subject and stuff, and it started freaking her out because she said she really didn't know what it was. But when I started talking to her about it, she goes, "How do you know this?"
Well, it's because you and I have, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but you and I have talked about the fact that that's why I do what I want to do, what I do, or whatever that is, right? But is for you to tell your story. I mean, because if you tell your story, then somebody else may hear it, just like the lady you're going to talk to, who's going to go, "Oh my God, okay, I've had a similar encounter." So you're coming out basically saying that. And when you spoke to her, that's what she said, correct?
Correct.
Right.
What happens is what Vic does in regards to the Dogman Encounter, people are allowed to tell their stories, and people would listen to these stories. And I'll be honest with you, some of the stories I kind of question, but I'll tell you what, there's a bunch of them that are solid.
That are similar to yours then? Similar.
Very similar.
Very similar.
And very, very similar. And some of them are very recent. I mean, some of them are a month ago.
Well,
we're talking a month ago.
now I think I did some research on it a little bit, but they're in like covens, or not a pack. It's more like they live in a community of them.
Well,
Am I correct? Am I correct?
That's how they communicate, by howling.
Okay, but are they living in like a pack of them, or are they just spread out?
They're usually a pack animal, okay, but they do go out on their own just like any other animal. They do go out on their own. There's a society of werewolves. I don't know if you knew that.
You mean a society that, that you belong to? Is that what you mean? Okay, all right. Well, I'm glad I got that one. Okay, so that is, I'm just so grateful that you were able to get on here and tell your story, Ellen. I really, really, absolutely 100% appreciate it. I just want everyone to know that we don't do any editing of these videos. What you see is what you get. That's what we like about what we're doing. Except for when I call you Ellen today. I called you Ellen, remember?
It's still early in the morning, you know.
Yeah, it's still early here, not really, but is there anything else that you'd like to say in regards to anything that you can think of?
Well, I would tell people to, I would recommend them to listen to the Dogman Encounter.
And Dogman Encounter is
It's
on
YouTube.
YouTube.
It's on YouTube, and listen to a few stories because they'll be able to figure out what's real and what's not real.
Right.
And when they catch on to a real story, and they listen to my story, because you got to understand, my story happened in 1973. Now we're talking stories that are happening in 2020.
Right, 2020. But you know, you got to be careful, and that's why I do everything and I don't cut it. We don't cut the videos. It's all live, is because I'm not going to have anybody come on with some fake story just to pump up my ratings. You know, I'm not doing it. It's got to be a credible witness or forget it. You know. So if someone goes on there, just be prepared to see Hollywood fun stuff. So it's also Hollywood fun stuff.
For the most of it on his show, I would say it's probably more in the 90s that the stories are real.
Okay, excellent. All right, good. I'll have to, now that's one thing I have not done. I have not gone on there. But, okay, Alan. Well, that is an incredible story. And I just want to thank you so much for...
Well, I appreciate your time this morning.
Yeah, I really do. So, this is Alan again, and that was about his werewolf encounter. And we shall see you next time for our next show. Bye-bye.
All right now, folks.